What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a good overview of everything you need to know for this upcoming week, give you my price prediction and what I'm doing for options, and also what is happening behind the scenes for Lucid. Before I get into any of that, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. With that though, let's get right to it. So as far as economic data coming out this week, it is going to be a very volatile week, and I am going to explain all of that. So you see Monday, basically quiet, Tuesday, quiet, and then Wednesday, July 27th, that's what kicks off the rest of the week. So do anticipate a little bit more volatility on Tuesday leading into the Wednesday because of the Fed meeting. So that most likely will dictate where things go. There is a lot of consensus that they're going to be doing a 150 basis point increase over the next two Fed meetings. And the next Fed meetings, as you can see, are right here. So July 27th and then the following one, September 21st. So it's unknown what they're going to be doing as far as what the breakdown of the 150 basis points, but that definitely will cause a lot of volatility. And if there is a little bit more of a negative surprise, that could cause a lot of volatility in Lucid. And then following that, the next day, GDP numbers. So again, that could be a little bit more, you can already tell the quarter over quarter, it does show that we are going to be very positive. So that's a good sign. But generally speaking, it could go anywhere, especially right now. It's very volatile for GDP. And then the following day, there is PCE. So usually the Feds use that as a very good indication of what true inflation is. So back to back as far as economic data coming out. But generally speaking, one additional thing that could cause a lot of volatility still is earnings week. And there is some big ones coming out this week. Similarly, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesday. So you got Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple is a big one, and you never know. Q2 might be the earnings for Apple to disclose whoever they're going to partner with, so that might be a little bit more of a random Russian roulette possible surprise for if it is Lucid. Never know, right? You can always hope, but generally speaking, earnings potentially could go anyway. We all know that last week there was a lot of random kind of future guidance. Some companies such as Snapchat did not even give future guidance, so it's one of those things. It could go any direction, and so overall, that is some of the possibilities that could cause a lot of volatility, either earnings or economic data. But 13Fs are still going to be coming in. For the most part, as of right now, they are still fairly positive. The big players, like I said, are going to be the first and second week of August, so stay tuned for that. But still, seeing what a lot of the smaller fish are doing is still very beneficial. And keep in mind, during Q2, this is when Lucid was added to the Russell 3000, so there is going to be a lot more institutions increasing their position because of that. So just keep that in mind. I do also anticipate more institutional purchasing on the dark pool behind the scenes. Has been definitely increasing over the last little bit, so that might be something optimistic despite Friday's sell-off. And on a side note, I just want to throw this out there because there was a lot of bears that were coming out on Friday saying that, you know what, Tesla is obviously just going to surpass Lucid and no point in investing in Lucid, blah, blah, blah. You can see right here on this chart, this is just the 90 days comparing Lucid, Tesla, and Rivian. And guess what? Out of the three, Lucid has been more advantageous. So right now, over the last 3 months or 90 days, Tesla is down roughly about 18%, Rivian down roughly about 4%, and Lucid is up 2%. So just keep in mind, Lucid is a long-term investment. Trying to play the short game on such a volatile stock such as Lucid usually ends in a little bit more pain. So just keep that in mind. I'm also not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. One thing as well, more so on a side note as well, which could be seen as a very positive sign for Lucid, I have not heard from Warren at all about anything related to Lucid. So the fact that he's actually quiet might be a very good sign for Lucid. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Just want to give you a quick update on some short information. Generally speaking, last week, a lot of them have closed out their positions. On Friday, almost 1% closed out, works out to be 2.58 million shares being returned. Still, we do have a fairly high short interest, which is 21.23%. Short score is still relatively high because the likelihood of a squeeze happening is still definitely there for Lucid, 86.81. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below if you feel a squeeze is going to happen. But as far as news coming out directly from Lucid, I don't anticipate anything. I think their surprise Easter egg did come out last week when they did appoint 2 VPs. Mostly for kind of expansions. So I think that's where they were kind of setting the pace for that, and hopefully they do elaborate on that in their actual earnings. So that's something you just need to keep in mind. So As far as some technicals, so looking on the actual chart, I think Friday was very much anticipated, a little bit more of a consolidation and sell-off, and similarly with the broader market. Right now, I do have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So momentum, number of buyers went down on Friday. Typically does happen on a Friday in general, but overall, pretty successful week. Stochastic, though, we are very much overbought, and we are currently at 88. So that's something you really need to keep in mind, and I'm going to explain what that possibly could allude to as well. So RSI is also at 52. On the actual chart, we did break on Friday below that 100-day moving average. Still a higher percentile of the Bollinger Band though, so definitely not down and out. And like I said, when it comes down to stochastic, we are very much overbought. Typically, when that is the case, when we get to around the 80s or higher, we do consolidate for at least about 10 to 15%. That's typically what does happen. The only case that we do stay above there was back in November. So this is when we actually stayed very much overbought for extended amount of time. So potentially this might be a huge value rally that does continue until we're roughly about $35. I'm not sure. Or hypothetically, this could be the start, or what happened on Friday could be the start of that 15% retracement. But keep in mind, as long as we stay above this point, then we're still technically on a nice upward trend. I'm just going to quickly pop over to interactive brokers. I like to use them for the Elliott wave, a little bit more different technical analysis. Given the circumstances of what's been happening and the strength the Lucid's been showing, despite on Friday, still does show 25.30 to 26.90 as far as a short-term price, as long as we can stay over the 1780 price point and their pivot point. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. If you do like interactive brokers and a lot of good information such as this, or even if you like analyst ratings, whatever floats your boat, just click on the link in the description below or the comments. Just play around, has a lot of good information such as this. But with that though, just going to quickly bounce back here. I'm going to give you my price prediction, where I see things going, and what I'm going to be doing for options activity. So generally speaking, with all the volatility and the possible risks involved for this week, and like I said, with stochastic being a little bit more overbought, I do anticipate the bottom being around $18. That is a worst case scenario, my own 2 cents. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. On the contrary though, there still is a huge likelihood that we can easily hit that $25 mark this week, leading into our earnings. So because like I said, when it comes down to a lot of these actual economic data points that's coming out this week, like I said, the anticipation is a little bit more neutral / negative. They could very much turn positive. So with that though, we could easily go on and continue our value rally, especially if we do get a continuation of buying behind the scenes from big institutions. So just like I said, take that how you see that. As far as options activity, I've been saying in my live streams that hypothetically, just to avoid any risk, like I said, between the $18 to possibly $22 range is where we could end up this week. I know it's a little bit more vague, but there's a lot of things happening this week. But to be safe, you could always sell 1750 puts, or hypothetically sell $22 covered calls, whatever floats your boat, or definitely do your own due diligence if you don't know any options. Highly suggest in researching them. But I've personally been getting a lot of good kind of feedback, and a lot of people who want to learn options activity. So I'm going to be doing a live stream as well. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel just to let you know on how I do options, what I look for. And in my particular case, when I talk about options activity, I don't always look for the most risky kind of options plays, because hypothetically you could always make a lot more money. But when it comes down to options activity, I'm more conservative. I either like to get the premium or either get exercised as far as selling puts at the price I want. So like I said about the $18, if you sell $17.50 just outside of that range where I see things going, then you know what, if it goes down below that, then you get to buy it at $17.50, which I'm sure a lot of us wouldn't really mind doing in general. So let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. I do want to go over one final thing, and that is this: some resistance and support points leading into next week. So right now you can see the first, second, and third resistance points. So almost $21, $22.13, and $22.82. So it is definitely up up there. This is where I said that given the circumstances and a continuation of buying, we can easily get to a lot more higher price points. On the contrary though, you get the first, second, and third support points. It is a little bit more of a gap. So this is where a lot more people are hypothetically saying that we're very much overbought and we're due for a little bit more of a retracement, because their first support point is at $19, second one is $18.31, and then the third one is $17.09. So I do anticipate a lot of volatility, and I always do say when you do options activity, when there is a lot of volatility, that is 1,000,000% when you can make a lot more money than usual, because options activity usually factors in volatility rates and everything like that. So in general though, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. And if you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that though, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.